Howdy. Watching Miami Herald. Today's edition. Centuries-old warnings emerge from riverbed as Europe faces historic drought. Updated August the 12th. (1616). Maybe that's a year, I don't know. 1921. They are looking very interesting. 1868. There's many years engraved in this one. I didn't read the article yet. So I thought, as I do it anyway, I will do it live here for you. For all of you. All 5 watchers. Or however many there are. So about this stone, they tell us water levels in the rivers across Europe are dropping in the historic drought, revealing Hungerstones, carved with the centuries-old warnings of famine and hardship. Hungerstone. Water levels have dropped in major rivers across Europe as the region suffers under historic drought. In those dry riverbeds, centuries-old warnings messages have emerged, locals report. The horrifying boulders are known as Hungersteine, or Hungerstones. Local German reporter Olaf Köhns said in an August 11th tweet, "One of these stones is embedded in the Elbe River, which runs from the mountains of Czechia through Germany to the North Sea." So, it's also a river which starts in the mountains, like all of those do. Mountain water. Politico. Journalist Aitor Hernandez Morales tweeted the same day. The stone is dating back to a drought in 1616. 400 years ago. And about 400 years, like this Columbus dude went to discover India, a new route over the sea. Yeah, there must be a reason for that they were searching for a better land. Suncycles, 400 years? 1,500 years? 3,000? 6,000? The Noah event? Half time of the big cycles, 12,000 year cycle. We had, within a year or so, Fagrarsfjall eruption. It was dormant, nothing happened for 10,000 years or so. It erupted. Then we had La Palma. Then we had Tonga. Now we have Fagrarsfjall again. La Palma broke already records, 500 years, biggest eruption, and Tonga broke all records, biggest eruption ever recorded. Fagrarsfjall is just one of those volcanoes in Iceland which should be kept an eye on. But anyway, I'm drifting off. Let's continue with that. The stone dating back to a drought in 1616 is once again visible in the drier riverbed, Hernandez Morales said. The warning reads, "Wenn du mich siehst, dann weine. If you see me, weep." Hungerstones like this one were used as hydrological landmarks across Europe. NPR reported when the stones last surfaced during a 2018 drought. These stones are chiseled with the years of hardship and the initials of the authors lost to history. A team of the Czech researchers wrote in 2013 study the basic inscriptions warn of the consequences of drought. It expressed that drought had brought a bad harvest, lack of food, high prices, and hunger for poor people. The stones commemorate historic droughts, the researchers said. The recent Shoko Azhara Appreciation Consortium. Yeah, he's wearing a crown. Hmm. The recent droughts in Europe once again made visible the Hungerstones in some Czech and German rivers. These stones were used to mark desperately low river levels that would forecast famines. This is one in the Elbe River. It is from 1616 and says, "If you see me, cry." Yeah, obviously that's wrong-sided, this picture. So maybe it doesn't have a copyright. Or whatever the reason is, but Europe's current drought is certainly historic. Scientists at the European Drought Observatory said that the drought is on track to be the worst one in 500 years, Sky News reported. So the La Palma eruption was the biggest in 500 years. According to the Drought Observatory, 47% of Europe is in drought warning conditions. Yes, also here, like the groundwater level is rising, we have 2 wells in our yard and it's dropping. And we are blessed with the Kursk magnetic anomaly, surface conductivity anomaly of Scandinavia, which has been taken down from the internet for whatever reason. It happened after I wrote them. I don't say it's because of me. It could be. Unfortunately, I had screenshots of that. I used it in my paper. They still didn't answer anything. But anyway. Meaning the soil has a moisture deficit. Another 17% is on alert. This would make 64%. More than the half. Yeah, it just needs 3.5% or 3.1%. It is already more than a half. Meaning the vegetation in the area is being affected by the dry conditions. Major rivers in Germany, Italy, and England. Didn't we have this flood occurrence there in northern London? I didn't make anything about, but anyway, leave it. The Rhine, Po, and Thames, respectively, are drying out. Deutsche Welle reported. The outlet reported that rivers are too dry, too low, and too warm, which has consequences on wildlife, the economy, and people. Believe it or not. Wildlife, the economy, and even people. How is it possible that they first mentioned the economy and then people? It should be the other way around. Wildlife, people, which are part of wildlife, and then the economy. Well, anyway, water levels in the Rhine River are about half of their usual depth. Half. Imagine. Half of the water. For this time of the year, with some sections having even lower water levels, Deutsche Welle reported. This has made shipping on the river 5 times more expensive because cargo ships must carry less weight to make sure that they not run on ground. Reuters reported. In Italy, the Prime Minister said that the country has experienced the most serious water crisis in the last 70 years. My Rice Krispies. The drought comes after months of high temperatures and little rainfall. The Washington Post reported human-induced climate change also has contributed to the intensity, frequency, and duration of heat events. and amplified droughts, the outlet reported. That's not true. There's Suncycles, what we are talking about. According to the European Commissioner for Environment, Oceans and Fisheries, drought have become our summer reality. He tweeted, Italy, Spain, Germany, Hungary, Romania, Ukraine, and France. Switzerland is missing, at least. Struggling under the drought. Yeah, because it doesn't belong to Europe, really. Euronews and Sky News. Conditions aren't expected to improve anytime soon. With the European Drought Observatory telling Sky News that we have estimated a worsening of the situation in most of Europe. A deadly heat apocalypse is gripping Europe. Look at some of the scorching scenes. No. I wasn't supposed to make any video now, but I just run across this one. Boats lay in the dried lake bed in the port of Velence, Hungary. Hungary. Thursday, August 11th, 2022. A huge drought is sweeping across Europe, which affects Hungary too, according to the General Directorate of Water Management, OVF. The water level in Lake Velence, a popular touristic lake near Budapest, is at the lowest level ever recorded. I said it many times, it's all about the water. Mountain water. There will be fluctuations in the mountain water, in the water which is coming out of the mountains. Sometimes there's a little, and there can be very much, and I somehow, since this thought struck me, thinking about the tsunami, first water retreats, and then it comes back with force. And I still think this could be very well possible as we go into fall. Let's see around the fall equinox. What's the situation with water in Central Europe? I somehow would expect that there would be several occasions where is massive flooding going on. Of course, heavy rainfall. But as we learned, also lightning starts from the ground and not only from the clouds. So when we have a big thunderstorm system over somewhere in Europe, you would expect the water also start to rise within the ground, because the waters try to make a connection. So even though now it's in many places dry, you hear simultaneously about whatever floods in the Alps or mountains, and Russia is in flood, and many places. Yes, it's always related to bad weather, of course. But since we know, let's say this is the surface of Earth. If there is energy coming from here, there is energy going up here as well. Whether it's a lightning strike or water. Sometimes it rains really hard, sometimes just softly. Sometimes there's just fog. Sometimes we just have clouds. Sometimes, like here in eastern Finland, we don't even have really clouds. And both of them, this one and this one, is part of a bigger, much bigger energy circuitry. There is many connections going on between earth and sky all the time. The most violent we know, or everybody knows, are volcanoes, with their ash plumes, which work like little antennas. They can gather like atmospheric energy from large regions because the cloud will spread out in a certain height, and therefore they can conduct energy, which in a way flows back into the volcano through the ash cloud. It means that the ash cloud has to be constantaneous. If there's just a puff, it won't work because there's no connection after all. After the puff, maybe it doesn't even need an ash cloud after all in order to get energy fluctuations running through the system, because they are connected to the skies anyway. But anyway, I will leave it here. Thanks for watching. This looks really funny, this picture. It's not Eastern yet. But once you decided to follow the white rabbit, you will follow the white rabbit. There's no way back. These are the timest of times. We are all in this together. You have to take everything into consideration. Because otherwise you will probably miss something of the picture. Yeah, anyway, thanks. Bye.